Hey, how's it going? Otaku Mike here. Let's talk about Black Canary, Best of the Best, Issue 1. And who's going to win the fight? Lady Shiva or Black Canary? Let's find out. So, this issue literally starts out with round 1 of Dinah, aka the Black Canary, and Lady Shiva fighting in this fight. And we do, at the beginning of this, we actually get a really nice intro for each character of like their history and their backstory of where they come from. I did not know Lady Shiva was from Michigan. Just saying. We are very much, as readers, thrusted and thrown into this story of this fight, and that's happening in real time in this issue. And it's interesting to see how Tom King, the writer, goes about telling the story, because a lot of it's actually narrated by the announcers and commentators in the fight itself, which bleeds over into the other half of this story. Which the other half of the story actually is, I would say, the main backdrop or catalyst of this whole thing that's actually going on with Lady Shiva and Black Canary, which is Dinah going back to her hometown, uh, uh, meeting back up with her mother, who is the original Black Canary, which a lot of people actually do tend to forget and know that, hey, there were actually two Black Canaries out there. Diana goes home to basically train for this fight and reconnect with their mom, which is a really interesting aspect, I feel like, because we don't necessarily always get Dinah and her mom together, and like the legacy of Black Canary, which is really cool and interesting. And reasons we find out something is actually happening with Dinah's mother. Spoilers, she may or may not be slowly dying of something. Uh, we don't really know what it is, but I have theories and guesses as to what Dinah's mother is suffering from. It's a big contentious point in this issue of like Dinah trying to help her mother and stuff for certain things, and she doesn't want help and whatnot like that. But it definitely weaves an interesting story going forward of what actually is going on with this fight and why they're actually fighting. I don't really want to spoil why they're fighting, but Dinah has her reasons as to why she's fighting in this competition. Not competition, it's more like a contest of champions. I don't know. So let's talk about the artwork for Black Canary, Best of the Best. Sorry for the glare. It's actually really good. I like the depiction of Black Canary and all the other characters. They do seem very real in this sense because, at this point, there aren't any superpowers or anything like that in this particular story. The story very much, for the most part, seems very, very grounded in a sense. So when we get into like the fighting scenes, like I love these scenes where we see like the difference between like Black Canary and her mom, and all the like the little quiet scenes are done very well. Versus like when she's fighting or getting ready to fight, like there's definitely a difference of the way I feel like the artist draws everything. Like when we have more of like the fighting stuff, it's like it just looks different to me. Like everything just looks like it could possibly fit into like our world. Is the way I feel like it. Like they just look like real people. They're not like 90s over sexualized superheroes or superheroines. But yeah, the fighting is actually very well done in this issue. I feel like, and we get to this funny joke right here where we see the Justice League all watching. They didn't know anything was going on with Dinah. They found out later on. Like there's Clark in the background cooking some hot dogs with his laser vision and stuff like that, and Ollie freaking out and whatnot. But yeah, the artwork is really top notch. I feel like it's definitely worth your time. Like look at this awesome artwork. You can't go wrong with that. All in all, I did enjoy this first issue of Black Canary, Best of the Best. To an extent. I feel like this series is definitely going to read probably better when you have more of the issues going forward, in my personal opinion, because we are thrusted into this first issue not knowing really too much about what's going on. And we do know a little bit afterwards. But one thing that really distracted me was the fact of the commentators like narrating almost everything. And I really kind of wanted something to where it breathed a little bit, because I thought that worked very well within the aspect of the fight itself. But I really liked the parts with Dinah and her mother. I felt were really solid, like parts in the story of like when they end up going to like the going at the dinner, and this little girl goes to get her Dinah's autograph, and she's like, "Oh, do you know who this is?" And she's pointing to her mother. This is the original Black Canary, and she's like, "Oh yeah, I know. I have her autograph." Apparently, everybody has her autograph in this small town, but the little girl focuses in on her, and like how amazing she is, and it gets really interesting with the commentators and stuff like that, how they start to break down each individual fighter, like Black Canary. She is like poised to possibly lose and not win, and because Lady Shiva has all like the different fighting styles and is more experienced, and Black Canary kind of uses a crutch of the canary cry, and that part was really interesting to see like them like break down each individual person. But there were I get what Tom King was trying to do with the story of have them narrate into like the parts with Dinah and her mother, and commentate on that aspect of their relationship, which I don't really know if that's ever been touched on before. But it was cool. It was a little distracting at times, where I just wanted to see Dinah and her mother interact with each other. But going forward, I can see this book becoming a really strong miniseries in a sense. The artwork is really amazing. The storytelling is really good too. I definitely recommend anybody check this out. It's definitely worth the read, and it's definitely something different, I feel like, when it comes to superhero comics, because we are getting a very personal story, I feel like, when it comes to Dinah, and maybe we'll even see possibly Lady Shiva's point of view, which would be really interesting. I feel like maybe intertwine their stories, because if I remember correctly, please let me know down in the comments. Don't they have a rivalry in like DC history? Like, I believe they fought before, and they had like this like heated rivalry in a sense. But I mean, I could be misunderstanding or misremembering stuff. Exactly. Who knows? But anyways, definitely go check this out. It's worth your time to read. I'm gonna talk to you, Mike. Thanks for listening. Like, subscribe, comment down below. Let me know what y'all think of this particular issue. You're gonna pick it up? You're not gonna pick it up? Let me know.